What up, what up, what up? Now I'm trying to read sideways, so I might not catch all y'all names because my camera's sideways so y'all can see the computer screen. Malik Yusuf, what up, bruh? And congratulations on your manifestation anniversary, brother. Everybody give some good hearts for the brother Malik birthday, man. Brother doing some good stuff, to help our people get in the industry the right way. Learn things about songwriting and publishing, producing. I appreciate that. That's some real shit. Real shit. Okay, now at 12 o'clock. Hey, Angelic. So at 12 o'clock, people can start DMing me your chart. I have a lot of stuff that I do, and when people send stuff after I tell them not to send it, it says you don't give a fuck about what I gotta do. When I tell you I'm gonna make time for you for free, send this at this time when I have time for you, and then you continue to send me direct messages and interrupt my work where people book appointments and pay for their time with me. You interrupt that every time you do a DM or try to video call me on Instagram. You interfere with the time that somebody already paid for. That tells me you don't care about me or anyone except yourself. So if you did that, make it a point to go get your chart read by booking an appointment, because I will not be looking at your chart today. I promise you that. If you want my dedicated time, in a time that wasn't provided for you to have that time, you go to my website and book an appointment. I won't be looking at your chart. What's up, everybody that's waving? I got y'all. I just needed to get that, get that out there, man. Get this set up over here so we can look at y'all charts on my computer from the Instagram app on the computer while I'm looking at your chart on this screen over here. So if y'all want to start DMing your charts, you can start DMing them now. Start DMing your charts now. And we're going to get to them. I'm going to look at your chart, then I'm going to put your chart up on the big screen, and we'll get to looking. All right, Ori, the first one who sent this chart. So we're going to get a look at his chart first. And we're going to look at different things in the chart, and I'm going to help you guys understand, man, how the chart is supposed to be read, what different things mean in the chart, and how to find the information you need out your chart. So we're going to come over here. Let me move this over here right quick and pull his chart up to the forefront. All right, we looking at this brother chart right here. As you see, it's over here. Can you guys see that? Because I don't got a good zoom feature on here. Hey, everybody that's coming in. If you look, I'm probably going to have to put this thing in my hand. I try to set stuff up and have it nice for y'all, but we gonna get it cracking raw dog way. The hard way. All right, so as we look at this brother chart, and shout out to everybody that's joining in right now. As we look at the brother chart, we see he has a Pisces rising. On the left side of the chart, you will find your rising sign. You will find your rising sign on the left side of your chart. As you see, fucking with this touch screen. This side of the chart, the eastern horizon, the left side, this is your rising sign. This would be the east in your chart. Your rising sign is what you look at to find your personality, the personality of the person whose chart you're evaluating, or how the person looks, because the rising sign gives us the physical appearance of a person. Now with Pisces rising, his brother has Pisces rising, but his appearance, this touch screen getting on my nerves, his appearance will be clouded because he also has Saturn in the first house. So although he may have deep and mystical eyes and a very spiritual personification, he also has very strict boundaries, you know, with Saturn in Aries. And although he may repress his aggressiveness because Saturn is retrograde in his first house, he definitely has those Aries features. This brother, if you look at his profile and he chooses to let you into his profile, you'll see he has broad nose and full lips. These are characteristics of Aries. You know, Saturn rules the bone structure. If you look at his bone structure, he has strong bone structures and a nice physical build. These are characteristics of people who have, you know, an Aries influence in their first house. But his rising sign, the sign on the cusp of this first house, is Pisces. So even though he has these, you know, assertive and military-like characteristics and strength, he will always be perceived as someone who has a spiritual nature and a little bit of mystical, you know, essence about him. When you look at the ruler of Pisces, the ruler of Pisces is Neptune. Neptune is found in his 11th house, you know, the house of hopes and wishes and things like that, you know, but it's in the sign of Capricorn. So that gives him more Capricornian features, just like Saturn in the first house. You know, the ruler of the first house being in the 11th house in the sign of Capricorn, he's meant to be a leader amongst his social environment. He's meant to take the lead. He's meant to make clear and direct boundaries. And it's important for his spiritual growth because Neptune is the ruler of his chart. And it's in the sign of Capricorn, retrograde. He has to look within and be willing to shed all the excessive bullshit in his personality that hinders his spiritual growth and him truly tapping into his spiritual essence. Now that we did the rising sign on this brother's chart, we're going to go to the next person who's in the DM. So we're going to go up here. We got to go to the bottom. Chloe. Chloe was the next person to DM her chart. Okay, so we go into the direct message. Give me 1 second to get this organized. Get down. Hot killers. They see somebody across the street, like down the block, they're cutting up. They don't let nobody come walk around. They're good at what they do. Up. Hold on 1 second. One second. That was shoot. Hold on 1 second, please. My dog's finna cut up. Give me 1 second. All right, y'all, my bad. And that was an accident because I read the wrong chart. I think that was Chloe chart I read. Chloe got the Pisces rising. Yeah, my bad. That's Chloe chart. The first chart I read was Chloe chart, but Ori was the first person who messaged me. Why his chart didn't pop up, I don't know. Now we get to Ori. This brother chart right here. Jeez, man. We get to this chart right here, Ori Kanji. He got Virgo rising. That's my apologies. Virgo rising. The ruler of Virgo in his chart would be Mercury. Mercury is in the 4th house. If you look here, shit, man. I apologize for all this errors. I got a touch screen thing. I don't know how to turn this thing off. And I really want to show y'all in detail. So Ori got the Virgo rising. You look at the ruler of the 1st house, you know, it's going to be in the 4th house. But we on to the 2nd house, so I'm going to read the 2nd house in this chart. The 2nd house, it tells you about what you value. Most people talk about the 2nd house is just money and your possessions, but the 2nd house has directly to do with your self-worth and what you value. On the 2nd house of this brother's chart is the sign of Libra. Libra is a sign of balance. It's a sign of beauty. It's a sign of justice. It's ruled by Venus. You know, and Venus is located in the 5th house in the sign of Capricorn, and it's retrograde. When you look at the qualities of Venus, and what's up, everybody? Everybody just joining. When you look at the qualities of Venus, you know, Venus, the symbol of Venus is a hand mirror. You know, so Venus tells us how we view ourselves, how we reflect on ourselves. You know, Chloe, don't get mad because the same things still apply to you. It's the same interpretation. You know, the 2nd house rules the values and the self-worth. If you want to be familiar with your self-worth and find your lane where you get your money at and build and accumulate your wealth, you're always going to look at the sign on the 2nd house cusp. Now, Libra, naturally people know it rules justice, but it also rules war. It rules war. It rules court cases. It rules negotiations. It rules beauty and commerce. But the planet Venus in the 5th house, his money will come when he learns to market himself in a way that isn't so callous and abrasive. Because, you know, Saturn is real emotionally detached, and Saturn rules Capricorn. Capricorn is on the 5th house. The 5th house rules how you market and promote yourself. Venus ruling the 2nd house and the 5th house, you know, this brother's opportunities are either made or broke by how he carries and promotes himself. Every time, you know, whether you choose to be, you know, nasty or whether you choose to be polite, you will be the author of your wealth, brother. And I'll tell you what my grandma used to tell me, it don't cost you nothing to be polite. So all the things in your life that are unnecessary, that you allow to continue to block your blessings, you need to cut it out. Because how you promote yourself directly attached to your self-worth and your net worth. That's your chart, bro, because the ruler of your 2nd house is in your 5th house. That don't mean you got to kiss people behind. That mean it don't cost nothing to be polite. Don't cost you nothing to be polite. Your sun and North Node is in the 5th house too, and they're conjunct. That means you need your part of your purpose, because the North Node dictates your purpose. North Node in Aquarius, I mean, you need to learn to get along with more people. You need to learn to get along with more people, be more helping and be conscious, you know, because your sun in Aquarius, you need to be conscious of the universal connection, especially in regards to how you promote yourself, because that's directly connected to your money house, which directly, you know, affects your business. Bree, go to my story yesterday. You can swipe up and go straight to the site. Now we're going to move to the 3rd house. Got to go back to the DM. Okay, so this here chick, we're going to go to the 3rd house. Now the 3rd house, it tells how our mind works. It's the house of the mind, the house of communication. It rules our siblings. It rules our siblings. The video will be reposted, so everybody will get to hear it again, I promise. It will be saved and stored. Everybody will get to hear it. So 3rd house, you know, Aquarius on the 3rd house, the house of communications in the mind. You know, this sister is a very, you know, compassionate and humanitarian type of sister. You know, she cares about the well-being of others, especially in her community. She wasn't taught to be, you know, mentally locked up or restrained by you know, limiting beliefs. As you see, the ruler of Aquarius, the ruler of her third house, is in its natural house, the 11th house, you know, and it's in the sign of Scorpio. When you look at Uranus and Scorpio, it talks about a person whose mind is deeply saturated and loves to be, you know, research. This is a person who really can do a lot of research and get captivated and caught up in research. They value the humanitarian things, and they have a very vivid imagination. And Aquarius on the third house, it gives you the mind necessary to be a very good astrologer. It gives you a very good mind for being an astrologer. And when you look at, you know, Scorpio, people always think that Scorpio is a sexual sign, but the sex part is about exploring the depths. It's about having the closest relationship to a person possible, and the closest you can get to somebody is intercourse, because you're literally inside and connected to somebody. So with Aquarius on the third house and Uranus being in Scorpio in the 11th house, she likes to truly understand the nature and the motivation of her social environment, and not necessarily her close friends, but the people that she even has superficial, even her, you know, go to the club friends. She seems to have a deep connection with them because of the ruler of her third being in the 11th, and that also gives her a very friendly relationship with her siblings. You know, although, you know, Uranus and Scorpio in the 11th house, ruling the third, it tells me that one of her siblings, you know, is about that life, and one of them is pretty manipulative too. But our mindset, our mentality, our relationship with our siblings, these are things that are ruled by the third house, and how our mind acquires knowledge at an early age. With Aquarius on the third house, so this goes for anybody who has Aquarius on their third house. You are a person who is nurtured and taught by your community. So we're going to go to the next person and look at the fourth house. Give me 1 second. Let me click on this thing. I'm getting to it, y'all. I'm getting to it. Let me see. Okay, Chocolate Vintage Shop. On the fourth house, she has Aries. Aries on the fourth house. Now, the fourth house, it doesn't just rule your home. The fourth house rules our father. It rules, you know, the karmic bullshit we pick up from our family. With Aries on the fourth house, you know, and Mars, the ruler of Aries, being in the first house. This sister's home defines her. Her home is her sanctuary and her fortress too. You know, her father might have been a man who had a reddish complexion. You know, maybe a red bone brother, maybe military or police. Definitely, you know, taught her not to be passive and easily walked over. If you look at her chart, she has Mars conjunct her North Node. Anytime you have a planet conjunct the North Node, this planet is very much connected to your purpose and what you need to learn. There's a second person's chart we seen today that has a planet conjunct the North Node. You know, so it's very important for this sister to really learn, you know, in the North Node in her first house. It's really important for her to learn how to, you know, assert herself and take control over her personal space. You know, and with the North Node being in Aquarius, it's important that she also, you know, learns to be more considerate of other people. You know, because North Node in Aquarius, that means her South Node is in Leo. You know, she shined and had it all and was the center of attention before in the past life. You can use those skills of getting attention and being in the limelight to help with your humanitarian efforts. And for those of you guys who don't know this sister, you know, she runs a food drive every Friday, man. Every Friday since the COVID stuff happened. You know, so that tells you about, you know, that Mars in Aquarius, that, you know, making herself, because the first house rules how people perceive you. She's perceived as a person who asserts herself in those humanitarian efforts. What's up to everybody just joining? Okay, we're gonna work our way over to the 5th house. Gotta go over to this DM thing again. I had to start doing more workouts and eating candy bars. My arm tight. I'm just trying to make it funny for y'all while y'all waiting for me to get this other thing pulled up. Okay, so next, for the 5th house, we got Samantha volunteering for the 5th house. Now, the 5th house, you know, our 5th house cusp tells us not only about what we like to do for fun, because people always say, oh, the 5th house is, you know, the house of dating and romance and booty call sex. And that's true. Not long-term relationship, but like sexual pleasure and short-term relationships. But it's also the house that tells about how we market ourselves, our luck, you know, gambling, investments. All this is ruled by the 5th house. So when we look at, you know, Samantha's 5th house, she's a romantic. Pisces on the 5th house, natural romantic. You know, the 5th house also rules our children. Pisces is a fertile sign. You know, the ruler of Pisces is Neptune. The ruler of Pisces, though, is in a barren sign. So even though you have a fertile sign on your 5th house cusp, if the ruler is in a barren sign, like in Samantha's chart, Neptune and Capricorn is a barren sign. If she has a child, it may only be one. And it might be when it's later in her life, because Capricorn is a sign that rules older age. So if she's not a parent, she may have become a parent at an age, you know, later than most of her peers have their children. And, you know, when you look at the 5th house again, you know, it tells what we enjoy, what we find happiness in. She cherishes, you know, her spiritual path. She cherishes, you know, the ocean and water, because, you know, Neptune rules Pisces and Pisces govern the ocean. So I wouldn't be surprised if she takes, you know, plenty trips to the beach or to the ocean or to the lake or to the river, enjoys, you know, things that have to do with the water, because it makes her feel connected spiritually. When you look, you know, at the placement of the ruler of the 5th house, you know, Neptune and Capricorn, you know, it's in the 4th house, the house of the father. So even though, you know, growing up, she may have had repression and strict, you know, spiritual stuff, she didn't allow that to stop her from growing as an adult. As an adult, and I can guarantee that. Because right now, you know, Pluto is finishing up in Capricorn, Saturn and Jupiter just left Capricorn, so they were tapping on all these planets in her chart. You know, in her 4th house, Pluto helping her purge a lot of family karma and get a lot of, you know, things that don't suit her out of her personality and psyche. You know, Pluto come through and it cleans shit up, Jack. So we're going to bust over to the next person for the 6th house. Holistic Jedi, you didn't send your chart, bro. You just sent your information. You got to go to the website, my story, and send your chart, bro. So we gonna go to Coach Powell for the 6th house. That's a nice big one. Good looking out, bro. Cause the homie working with 4 eyes. Okay, so the 6th house. We look at the 6th house at Coach Powell chart. 6th house of health. He got Taurus on his 6th house. If you look at this boy, he's strong as a bull. This brother is ripped up like a bad report card when you ain't trying to get a whooping. You know, the ruler of his 6th house, he got Taurus on his 6th house, and he is definitely built and strong as a bull. You know, the ruler of Taurus is Venus. If you look over here, you see Venus in its own sign of Libra. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. You know, and it's in his 10th house. This brother is a professional fitness. 6th house is 6th house of health. You know, health, well-being, service to the world. You know, with the ruler of his 6th house in the 10th house in the sign of Libra. I told you Libra rules war. A lot of people think Libra is just justice, but you can't get justice without war. Libra rules war. You know, I'm willing to make a stake that this brother has some type of military or police background career that he works in. Like I said, you know, the brother is a physical specimen. You know, his health is phenomenal. You see that by the ruler of the house of health being conjunct the midheaven. The midheaven, you know, is our place in the world. You know, you look at the brother's 1st house. This also tell you about his fitness stuff. You know, he got Mars in the 1st house. Mars in the 1st house, man. That also give him that rugged fit. You know, that also give me those keys to support the assertion that I made that he has a police or military background, because the planets in the 1st house tell how you're perceived. So when you're looking at if you want to look at your physical health, you know, what type of work somebody does, you look at the 6th house. You know, the 6th house is the service you provide to the world. It also tells what type of pets you like and things like that. Even though this brother big and swole, big and swole, you know, 6th house rules pets. You know, the ruler of the 6th house is Venus. It's in the sign of Libra. So I bet this brother probably got one of them little nice dogs. Or if he does got like a pit or a bully or something like that, he keep him clean and fresh and luxurious and things like that. I bet you that. You know, people know that about him. You know, he values, you know, he values that, and it's nice to him, you know. So when you're looking for what type of job you should be doing, if you're seeking to get employment from somebody else, you want to look to your 6th house. You know, you want to look to your 6th house because your 6th house tells what skills and services you can provide to the world. You know, and again, you know, with Taurus on the 6th house, the brother knows how to get to the money. He knows how to get to the money. You know, anytime you got Venus or Taurus on your 2nd, 5th, 6th, 8th, or 10th house, even your 11th house, you know, but not so much the 11th house, you ain't gonna have a problem with money, man, unless you just got a bunch of bad aspects to your chart and you got poor financial skills, you know, because those positions on those money houses make sure you always have more than enough. even for those who squander their money. You know, he got Capricorn on his second house too, so you know he ain't a fool with his money. He make good business decisions. Good business decisions with his money. So now we're gonna go to the seventh house. Go to the seventh house. Y'all enjoying these? Are y'all learning a little bit? Let me know. You know, and I'm just going over the different houses and stuff so you guys get a general understanding of how to read your chart. Because I don't want you depending on me all the time. I want you guys learning and understanding how to do things on your own. I tell you, I want you to be powerful, not powerless. I mean that. So let me go to the next person. People blowing up my phone. Dino Pup. Dino Pup. All right, we on here. We using you for the seventh house. For the seventh house. So the seventh house. Give me 1 second. Let me put this thing on. Okay, so the seventh house. Am I back? Am I back on? Give me some hearts if I'm back on and y'all can hear everything cool. Okay. Give me some hearts if y'all can hear everything, because I just put my phone so people stop calling me. Can you hear? Let me know if y'all can hear, please. Thank you. Okay, so as we go to who did I say this was? Give me 1 second. Trying not to, you know. Let me find whose chart I'm looking at right quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, Dino Pup, my bad. Here we go. So we're looking at the seventh house, Dino Pup. The seventh house, it rules, you know, partnerships. It rules marriage. It rules war. You know, in mundane astrology, when you're looking at countries and things like that, it rules the Senate. You know, the Senate, laws being passed. But in your personal chart, again, it rules, you know, personal relationships, our close relationships, people who we go to for advice, and our significant other. With Venus, with Libra being on the seventh house, and Venus ruling Venus rules Libra. It's in your first house in the opposite sign. You love real hard. And you wear your heart on your sleeve. You know, not just with your significant others, but with the people who you come into contact with. Know you're very passionate about the things that you guys that you care about. Dino Pup. With Libra on the seventh house, you know, Libra, if the sign on your seventh house tells you, you know, the best person that you should get in a long-term relationship should have a strong Libra influence in their chart. So most of the guys that you like are probably Libra or Aries. You know, so when you're looking for a relationship, a long-term relationship, you look at your seventh house. Okay, I got Libra on my seventh house. I'm going to find me a fella that got the sun, moon, you know, North Node, Venus or Mars and Libra. Because These are the things that are going to provide, he's going to provide me the energetic sustenance I need in order to assert myself, because the ruler of your 7th house is in the 1st house. So it's in the sign of Aries. Venus in Aries means you love independently. You know, Venus is a hand mirror. It reflects on how we, you know, display our affections. You assert your affections and make your love known. So if you're going to be, you know, involved with somebody, this person needs to be a person who can handle being in the limelight and in the front light and in the, you know, forefront, and people seeing them in public with you, because you like to display your public affection and let your loyalty be known. This is good, but it can also be bad, because you have Venus square Neptune and Uranus in Capricorn, meaning sometimes you let your idealizations get you in bum-ass relationships with some bum-ass dudes spontaneously. They be caked up because, you know, it's square in the sign of Capricorn. But don't let the smooth taste fool you, and you'll find that your relationships become much more fulfilling, sister. We busting on to the 8th house. Okay, so now we next person. We got Red on Demand. For the 8th house, house of transformation, death, the resources of our significant other, because the 8th house is the second from the 7th. So that means the 8th house tells us about the resources of our partner also. You know, so when we look at the 8th house, a transformation, you know, death, surgery, because the 8th house also rules surgery, and it rules, you know, the wealth of others and abundance of others. It also rules inheritance. You know, you want to look at, find out if you got some money coming from inheritance, you look to your 8th house. So we're talking about the 8th house. She has right there 1 degree, about 1 degree Aries, starts her 8th house. So the ruler of Aries is Mars. Mars is in her 3rd house. You know, with Mars in the 3rd house in the sign of Scorpio, it's very possible that she lost a sibling or two to street violence. You know, because Scorpio rules the hood. It rules the streets. It rules the gang. You know, Scorpio rules prostitution and the underworld in general. You know, with the ruler of her 8th house being in the 3rd house and in the sign of Scorpio, that tells you that a lot of pain, physical and otherwise, have, you know, came to the sister because of, you know, her associations and people that she grew up with in the street environment. But the 8th house, death, is also transformation. When you have Mars in your 3rd house and Mars rules your transformation, the things you experience create opportunities for you to change your mind state, and really, because her Mars and Uranus are conjunct in Scorpio. So the traumatic experiences that she's experienced through the people she values, you know, she has the mental capacity to take that experience and use it to assert herself and transform her mind. And that's a good thing. So we're going to go on to the 9th house. I'm reading people's charts in the order that they sent them to me at 12 o'clock. The people who followed instructions are getting rewarded. If you didn't follow instructions, you get nothing. Get nothing. Okay, so we at the Spiritual Plug 111. What's up, sis? we gonna hit that ninth house with you. We're gonna hit that ninth house with you. And that's interesting. That's interesting now, because it gives us a chance to talk about intercepted houses. As you see, this is her 7th house. It's her 8th house. Okay, her 8th house is intercepted, my bad. But when we go to the 9th house, she has Virgo on the 9th house. The 9th house isn't just a house of, higher learning and spirituality. That's a superficial understanding. Now, for those of you guys who stuck through and are still here, I'm going to tell you the secret about the 9th house. The 9th house is our wish house. The 9th house, this house right here. So when you come here, this is 7th house cusp, 8th house cusp, 9th house cusp. Her 9th house is in Virgo. The 9th house is the house of hopes, wishes, beliefs. You see, her sun is in this house. The sun in the 9th house, it doesn't just make a great learner, it makes a great manifester. Especially because her sun rules Leo. Leo is intercepted in the 8th house of mediumship. So the more this sister trusts her intuition, the more she can manifest greatness for herself. Being that the sun is in Virgo in the 9th house, it's important that she write down the details and be as detailed as possible in the manifestations that she desires. Because the more details she has, the better she is able to visualize it. The sun in Virgo, she's able to see and aware of the details of what she wants to manifest in her life, and it comes to her easy. It comes to her easy. But we have to also look, her sun is square Saturn. Her sun is square Uranus. Saturn rules her 2nd house of self-worth. And the intercepted, sign of Aquarius, So when you doubt yourself, sister, because Saturn is in Sagittarius, the natural place and ruler of faith and belief, you doubt yourself and you suddenly destroy everything you built. A square aspect is 90 degrees. It starts one way and then it's forced to go another way. So when you have squares in your chart, and this tells me, something happened when you were 6 or 7, because as you progress the sun and it moves into a progressed conjunction with Saturn and Uranus, it tells me things triggered in your life around 6 or 7 that changed your self-worth, your understanding of money, and your sense of community. So it's important that you really do a bunch of work on your solar plexus chakra and get that healing popping, sister, so you can manifest like you meant to manifest. You understand me? On to the 10th house. We at Angie's World. 10th house is the house of career, as they say. But the 10th house is the 2nd house from the 9th house. If it's the 2nd from the 9th, that's the benefits. It's the value that you get from your hopes and wishes. So remember, what you put out there in the night with your 9th house energy manifests into the real world through your 10th house. So when you look at this sister's 10th house, she has Cancer on the 10th house. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is in her 1st house. Cancer is the sign of nurturing and caretaking, mothering. It's ruled by the moon. It's in the 1st house. In the sign of Libra. Libra is what? Ruled by Venus. Venus rules what? Beauty. This woman's career. She is a beautician. She does people's hair and locks. I know that because she followed me for a while, but it's in her chart. it shows what she does in her chart, because each planet rules something, each house rules something, and each sign rules something. It's symbolism. The more you understand the symbols and the correspondence of the houses, the planets, and the aspects, the better you will be able to understand yourself and your life and the situations that manifest therein. So she also has Mars in Cancer in the 10th house, and she also has Jupiter in Leo in the 10th house. So whatever business this sister chooses to get into, she's going to make a lot of money. She's going to be successful. She's going to have the limelight. Because Jupiter in Leo, wherever Jupiter is, it expands. Leo is attention. Leo is attention. Jupiter expands your attention, and Mars helps you assert yourself. So whatever you put your oomph behind, you're going to get, sister. You know, and we look at your sun over there in the 8th house of other people's money in Taurus. You know how to get it out of motherfucker. You know how to get it up out of them. So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, the ruler of the 10th house. You look at the ruler of the 10th house is the moon. The moon's in Libra. You don't got too many tough aspects. You know, there's an opposition right here of Mercury in your 7th house. Sometimes you let, you know, the people that you get advice from put a little doubt in your head, but once you shake past that, you'll be all right. You will be all right. On to the 11th house. Our melanin run deep. You sent me a disappearing photo. Now I can't see it again, sister. So we on the Amber Windsor for the 11th house. And I'm not gonna stop when I'm done with 12 houses. I'm gonna give y'all some good pointers. The more you say do mine, the more I'm not gonna do it. I told everybody to be here at 12 o'clock. It wouldn't be fair to everybody who came at 12 o'clock and DM'd at 12 o'clock to do yours. Now, the 11th house. When you look at this sister's 11th house cusp, you know, she has Gemini on the 11th house. People say 11th house is, you know, 11th house is friends and hopes and wishes. But the 11th house ain't your friends. The 11th house is the people that you go out and socialize with. And I'm sure 99% of y'all would not take life advice from the same motherfuckers you go to the club with or to the bar with. 99% of y'all would not take life advice from the people, you know, who you just go hang out and be ratchet with. You know, so when you look at the 11th house, it's how you socialize. You know, the 11th house is how we socialize. It's the rewards we get from the 10th house. You know, because the 10th house is how you put yourself out there for the world. And the 11th house is the benefits that you get from it. You know, so when you got Gemini on this, you know, 11th house, you're a social butterfly. You know, you like being around people because you get to acquire information and understand them. You know, the ruler of Gemini is Mercury, and that's in your 3rd house. The ruler of Gemini is Mercury, and that's in your 3rd house. Mercury is conjunct your Saturn, it's conjunct your moon, it's conjunct Pluto. You got a magnificent stellium of things that control the mind and subconscious, which help you with your psychic ability. But you got the Virgo on the 3rd house. So even though all these planets are in Libra, they tell you to be balanced out and pay attention to your intuition and your awareness, you get caught up on the details, sister. You can't get so caught up in the details that you miss the picture. You know, you got good placements. You know, the moon conjunct, conjunct Mercury, that give you good intuition, man, because the moon rules your intuition. The moon rules your intuition, man. And Mercury is in its natural house, the 3rd house. And they're both in signs of the mind. Libra is an air sign. The air rules the mind. You know, I wouldn't say that, it's far-fetched that you aspire to, make an impact with writing and communication. You know, when you look at, your 11th house and the close placement to the moon, it really says that, the ability to understand people is very important to you and helps you form a more nurturing connection to them. Your Mercury is trying your Venus in the 12th house in the sign of Leo, So in regards to, your career, you may not always get the shine that you want, and you do a lot of things behind the scene. And, that's cool. That's cool, because sometimes it's better to be the hidden feature that keeps everything moving smoothly. You dig what I'm saying? Your Sun and Jupiter conjunct in your 2nd house, so it don't matter if you if you getting credit or not, you getting paid. So that's all you're gonna get the reward from your career. It's good. It's good, man. We're gonna move on to the 12th house. Move to the 12th house, and then we're gonna talk some other stuff. All right, we at K dot, the 12th house. A lot of people scared of the 12th house, man. They say, oh, the 12th house, it rules prison, it rules hospitalization, incarceration. Oh, that's the house of karma. Everybody think the 12th house suck. The 12th house is your house of secrets. Yeah, it's a house of losses. But you got to lose in order to gain. If you want to know how to get rid of anything in your life that you don't want, you go look at the 12th house. Look at the 12th house. You see right here is the 12th house cusp. She has Virgo on her 12th house. You want to get rid of people and things that don't suit you in your life? You want to free yourself from addiction? You need to get on your Virgo shit and make a detailed evaluation of what's going on in your life, Miss K Dot. The ruler of your 12th house is Mercury. Mercury is in Capricorn. In the 4th house. You want to deal with all your baggage? You need to get rid of the excessive shit that you picked up from your family. Work out those father issues, because the 4th house rules the father. Capricorn on the 4th house, the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. That's in the 4th house. That tells me your father was very, very strict and he wasn't as nurturing as he could be. See all these planets in your 4th house in Capricorn? That means it's a lot of issue with how you grew up in your childhood and your father that you need to resolve. Stop basing your affection on things like that. How you dealt with your father, or how your father dealt with you guys, and you will be all right. You will find the value that you want in your relationships. And you'll learn to let go of things that no longer serve you. Does that make sense to you? So as we went through the different houses and gave a little bit of a reading for everybody on each house, we're gonna come over here to this one. Now this is just the United States chart. It's United States chart. And we're not going to do no predictions or nothing. I told you, it's a wrap for that, you know. Anybody ain't been listening, they're in trouble. You know, they're in trouble. But you want to look to different things. We're going to look at different planets, you know. Pluto, where Pluto is at in your chart, that's going to tell you where your power is at. Pluto is going to help you identify your power in your chart. It's going to help you identify, you know, the area where you're manipulated at and tend to manipulate others. If we use the United States chart for example, you know, you see Pluto is in the second house. Second house of money is money and values. Does the United States use their democratic values to manipulate and control shit around the world? Play with the economy? Is money a power and control tool for the United States? Yes, because Pluto tells you the nature and where the power and manipulation games that are associated with Pluto come in at. You know, you want to look at your, if you want to understand, you know, like where your boundaries are supposed to be at, you know, where you have to learn to let go of limitations and where you need to place limitations in your life. You know, Saturn tells you that. Saturn is found in the United States 10th house in the sign of Libra. If you look at Saturn in the 10th house, it tells you, you know, their power, their control structure, limiting power in the office of the president, because in the nation chart, the 10th house rules the power. Saturn in the 10th house shows that this country limits the power of the president, and that power is limited by the other branches of government. What does Libra rule? It rules the Senate and Congress, as I told you when I was looking in you guys' other charts. You know, you want to look at your spirituality and, you know, your capacity for psychic ability. You look at Neptune. Neptune also rules music and poetry. So any songwriters in here, if you got strong Neptune placements, Neptune conjunct Mercury, Neptune in the 3rd house, Neptune in the 10th house or 6th house, you might have some writing or acting talent. Even Neptune in the 5th house. People have connections to the you know, entertainment industry, because Neptune rules filming. Because filming is governed by fantasy. It's a fantasy. Neptune rules fantasy and illusions. That's what a film is. Do you guys understand now how a planet gains governance over things and how the symbolism is layered deeper and deeper and deeper the more understanding you have of a planet or of a house or of an aspect? Does this make sense to you now, how astrology works? You get some action on the hearts. People understand it. Some comments. Let me know if you understand. If it helped you understand how to use astrology and the value that astrology can provide to your life to help you understand yourself. I mean, they didn't carve it on the portals of the temple in ancient Egypt. You know, they didn't carve it on the portals of the temple. You know thyself and you shall know all things. You know, the master Fahad Muhammad didn't give the Nation of Islam the measurements of the sun, moon, and stars just so they could fucking parrot it off. He gave you the measurements of the solar system so you can measure things and understand when things are changing and when to do the right things. That's why he gave you that supreme knowledge. Because your Bible tells you it's nothing new under the sun. The astrology chart reveals to you what's going to happen because the planets represent patterns of energy. It's nothing spooky about it. It's occult, which means hidden and mysterious, because you have not taken the initiative to fucking learn. Stop letting these people scare y'all out y'all power. The war is for your mind. I'm about this thing. I love y'all. Oh, no, I'm not going to dip on y'all just yet. I got a few more minutes before it cut off. Your purpose. What you here to learn. Study that North Node. You want to understand what you here to learn? Saturn, North Node. Now your the sun sign represents your conscious mind. You know, how you consciously project the energy manifested within your soul. Your rising sign tell how the world interprets that conscious projection of yourself. Your moon sign, people sleep on the moon sign. But the moon sign, the moon rules the subconscious. So the moon tells you what is the driving force behind your incarnation. You look at my chart, my moon is in Aries, in the 3rd house. The 3rd house is about communication. You know, Aries, you know, it's certain communication. What do? I communicate to y'all. I assert information to your mind. The ruler of the Aries moon, because the moon is in Aries, the ruler is Mars. Mars is in the 1st house of my chart. My 1st house, my rising sign is Capricorn rising. The ruler of that is Saturn. Saturn is in my 9th house of teaching. So when I come on here and I demonstrate things to y'all, the ruler of my sun sign, Jupiter, because I'm a Sagittarius, so my sun is ruled by Jupiter. I got a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Libra in my 9th house. My sun, Neptune, and Mercury are conjunct in the 12th house. Look at my chart, because I posted it before. I'm here to teach. I'm not going to debate with nobody. I'm not going to give y'all no warnings and stuff no more, because I showed y'all I'm capable of teaching, and now I'm going to teach y'all. Now we can dip. I hope y'all get motivated, and get active looking at your charts, man. Because you don't even got to pay for nothing. If you can't afford nothing, you can get a general free chart reading at a gazillion websites. Take advantage of it. And this video going to be saved, so you'll be able to read, and use. That's why I took different people's charts and used different examples. So you'll be able to understand how different planets interact in different places and in different signs. To give you guys the information you need to start making charts, assessments of your own chart based on the examples that you learn today. I'm not just going to tell y'all you can do something. I'm going, you know, give y'all the information you need to do it. Too many people in the world for everybody to be dependent on me, especially when you guys can do this shit yourself. Now, you want to learn about psychic stuff and things like that, you know, mediumship, things like that. Monica Bay, Mystic University, go see her. Go see her. Your chart wasn't read, but you got the opportunity to learn. You sent a disappearing picture. I clicked on it, seen it, and the picture disappeared. I can't read what's not there. But everybody who DM'd, I'm sure everybody learned something and has learned to look at their chart. I didn't take my time out to show you guys so y'all stay dependent on me. I want y'all to learn how to do stuff. Because I'm telling you, man, horse breeders, dog breeders, you know, people that gamble, you know, politicians. Y'all see, I predicted the election. I told y'all who was going to win the election with this shit, man. You know, I told y'all about Trump health. This is a profound science. But you have to do it in a scientific way. You have to do it in a scientific way, or you're not going to get accurate results. When you went to the website, you seen it asked for your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. Because this is scientifically tracing the energetic patterns that are manifested in your soul. When you look at your natal chart, you know, when you look at your natal chart, it's a blueprint of the energy manifested in your soul. And I'm gonna be breaking a lot of shit down for y'all, man. So I'm asking y'all stay tuned, because y'all gonna learn a lot. Y'all learn a lot. So y'all have a good day. I don't celebrate Easter, but I'm finna go to my mother-in-law house and fuck up all that food. Yeah. You know what time it is. Finna go be greedy. I love y'all. I got finna drop a blog post today on the tarot to supplement that history of tarot video Finna drop the blog post supplementing that today. And I'm gonna drop some more stuff for y'all, man. For those of y'all that's trying to learn, like I said, we gonna get y'all popping, man. We gonna get y'all popping. Yes, the non-vegan onslaught. You know it's gonna be plenty pork popping, big pig popping. You know what it is. And like I said, man, I got some good review. Good. If you go through the page, you'll see I give a good list of astrology books and things like that, man. Use the resources. I'm gonna make a Amazon affiliate page on my thing, you know, on my website, so y'all can shop on there and just click boop boop boop. I make a few pennies, but y'all get all the benefit. I'm out. I gotta go be greedy. I ain't ate yet. It's 1 o'clock. I ain't ate yet. I need to go be greedy. Peace.